6, Dr. Russel Norman. Order. And I say to both sides of the House again, ask them to extend some courtesy to Dr. Russel Norman. Question number 6.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Prime Minister and asks, does he stand by his comments on BBC HARDtalk yesterday that, quote, intensifying our dairy operations had some impact on river quality? If so, what is that impact?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, yes. In some areas of New Zealand, and the historical intensification of dairy operations will have had some impact on our river quality. That is why we announced yesterday an increase in funding for clean-up of our rivers, lakes and aquifers. But in reality, the impact is not great and needs to be kept in context, as we have a 2010 ranking of second only to Iceland in the Columbia and Yale University's Water Quality Index with a score of 99.2, which is significantly ahead of other developed countries.
Dr. Russel Norman.
Is the Prime Minister aware of statistics provided by Ministry for the Environment which show that only 43% of our monitored rivers, are not safe for swimming most of the time?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I haven't recently seen those figures. I've no doubt they're there, but I've recently seen them. But that would explain why a national-led government is spending more money, in fact 5 times as much, on the freshwater clean-up between 2009 and 2014 as the previous Labor government did, one that he supported.
Dr. Russel Norman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If, as he said on the BBC, that intensification of dairying does cause water pollution, then why is he promoting hundreds of thousands of more hectares of dairy intensification?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Well, Mr. Speaker, what I also have said on numerous occasions, I can't honestly remember what I said on BBC HARDtalk because I haven't actually seen the show, but Mr. Speaker, what I have said on numerous occasions is one needs to balance the environment with the economy. And if one looks, for instance, at water intensification or dairy intensification that may come from water irrigation schemes, I refer the member to the Opua Dam Water Management Project in South Canterbury. It won the 2008 Canterbury Resource Management Award. It's a sustainable project which is supported by Fish and Game, local iwi and the community, and demonstrates that you can actually have both economic and environmental benefits.
Dr. Russel Norman.
Is the Prime Minister aware of the statement by the National Institute of Water and Atmospheric Research which says that there is no doubt that our declining water quality over the last 20 years is associated with intensification of pastoral farming and conversion to dairying? And how can he possibly support massive conversion to dairying while avoiding those environmental effects?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I haven't seen that particular comment, but again, yes, we're aware that there are always environmental risks when one increases intensification of dairying. I'm also aware of all the steps that the industry is taking to now make sure that it is a good custodian of environmental responsibility and is meeting those challenges, in my view.
Dr. Russel Norman.
If the industry is to be a good custodian of the land, does the Minister believe that we need regulation in order to ensure that the industry actually does look after the land?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Speaker, well, there inevitably is always some legislation that's required in that area, and those are covered under things like the Resource Management Act when there are controls. It will also be assisted by the national policy statement that the Minister for the Environment put out yesterday.
Dr. Russel Norman.
Is the Prime Minister aware that the national policy statement that was put out yesterday removed the requirement that dairy intensification requires a resource consent? That the draft national policy statement on freshwater management said that you needed a resource consent to have dairy intensification, and the final NPS has taken that away, so you do not have the ability to regulate?
The Right Honourable
Mr.
Prime
Speaker,
Minister.
well, I'm advised that the government had legal advice that the proposed NPS was ultra-vires and that it can set policy but not rules. That is why Cabinet did not proceed with those provisions.
Dr. Russel Norman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Was he taking a bit of a gamble to invite BBC HARDtalk interviewer Stephen Sacker to swim in our rivers when, according to MFE statistics, 43% of our monitored rivers are not safe for swimming most of the time, and so Mr. Sacker would have stood a 1 in 2 chance of getting the runs?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, no, I don't think I was taking a big risk asking him to come for a swim. I think that member's taking a much bigger risk if he continues to support the Labor Party.
Question number 7.